All right, so we are live. Welcome, everyone. This is Lou Martin, and as you can see, I am joined by Ariette Love, who has been an inspiration to me for years. Thank you, my dear friend, with her photos, her videos, her posts, and her adventures. So good morning, Ariette. Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning to you, Lou, in Ireland, right? And good morning to everyone who is watching. And I'm really grateful that you invited me to come here. And we've been connected for many years now already on Facebook. You froze, by the way. I don't know if it's just on my end. Yes, now I see you again.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So let me see if others experience the same as well. I'm sorry, Lou, I can't see you. So maybe I shall just start to introduce myself and my work. Let me wait just a little while and see if you come back online. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
We lost connection with you. Well, I did.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I was wondering whether I should introduce myself.
Yes, please. That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Okay. So in case we do lose connection again, I will talk about anything that arises. So my name is Ariette Love, Ariette Love, but Ariette Love, it's a bit difficult in English and other languages than Dutch. I am based in the Netherlands, and I'm married to grown-up daughters, and I'm currently working on a new project, as you announced already. The Goddess Rises. And yes, I'm here to transmit crystalline light codes, crystalline frequencies, awaken people in their strength, their light, their love, and help them to remember and to re-embody Christ consciousness.
Beautiful.
I'm waiting to see if you can hear.
So how did you get started on your spiritual journey?
Oh, it is a very interesting question because
yes, I have you.
It has had its up and downs. So the first thing I consciously remember is when I was very young. I had this, people ask you, what do you want to become when you've grown up? And all I wanted was to become wise. So that's when I was very, very little still.
Yes.
Then the first event I can remember consciously, I must have been around 6 or 7. I've been raised Roman Catholic, and we went to church every weekend. And then the priest said something, and I was always very attentive during, the stories about from the Bible, and when the priest was preaching. But then he said something, and what he said was, to feel God, you need to come to the church. That's basically what he said. And I heard a voice from within, and I saw a very, very powerful light. And it was just like a heart awakening. That's what I call it right now. I didn't know it back then, but it was in the heart. I felt it. And it was this knowing from within that he didn't have a clue. And what I heard was, I am everywhere. And God is within. So I am within and I am without.
Beautiful.
But then I lost it at some stage in my life during my teenager years. And since my early 20s, I have been on the spiritual path, but again, on and off. So I think I lost connection again. That is, your image froze.
Sure.
Yes,
sure.
You're back.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Okay.
Yes, I can continue to hear you even though it's breaking up, and the recording itself will be better than this connection. So just to let you know.
Perfect. Okay. So
sorry. Okay, honey.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, please.
Yeah. I also grew up Catholic. I remember the.
You grew up Catholic?
Sure. Well, just I do want to give you the space for your story, but just I do remember being. Yes, I grew up Catholic in the States, and I left at 16, and I remember the bishop putting his hands on my head for confirmation. Catechism, confirmation, all that. And I remember a transmission of energy coming into me. And that was the first thing I could ever recall where there was something that was metaphysical beyond the physical.
Wow.
But like yourself, yes. I spent my time in church trying to make my younger sisters break up and have a good laugh about everything. Yeah.
So that's what we call the sacred rebels, right?
Absolutely. We're on the same page. Yes.
We're on the
so
same
you were
page.
saying about your 20s. So can you pick up the story how you reconnected with spirit after that?
Like I said, it's been on and off, and I've been at a certain stage, I've been going through the dark night of the soul. Looking back, I've had several, really. So you could call me rather stubborn, I needed a few. And
you're not alone.
Yeah. I remember that at a certain moment, it must have been around 2007, 2008, and I was just sick of the going back into darkness and allowing myself to experience this again and again. So that was when I chose to be really devoted to my path. And even if there would come distractions, because, they happen all the time.
Sure.
I was devoted from then on to really live from the heart.
Beautiful.
Prior to that, I thought I had chosen it already. But when I look at my path, I guess it's this is for everyone the same. It's a constant deepening. So, like I said, when I started to consciously walk the spiritual path, end of teenager, really. So when I lived on my own in Utrecht,
right,
early 20s, and read spiritual books and tune into divine energies. But I was a bit reluctant as well to really go for it, because I didn't want to be an outsider. I was afraid to be too different. So I knew I was different, but then again, I was afraid to be too different. Yeah. So, but around, I think 2006, 2007, I really chose to, I've always been different. So I better be myself, because I can't satisfy everyone. Which I tried beforehand.
Sure, of course. Yeah. Well, my friend, I mean, this is what I really love and appreciate about you, is you really do put yourself entirely out there. I just watched your beautiful guided video, Rise of the Goddess, or the Divine Feminine, about a 20-minute guided meditation where you say you can either watch this or close your eyes. And, I was doing a bit of both. And it's, you are a beautiful channel for the Goddess. And, your connection to Mary Magdalene is something I want to explore with you. But, yes, it's been the same story for me. Once, 2 steps up, 1 step back, and making peace with being the strangest person in the room most of the time. And just having fun with it, like we're doing here today, rolling with it and seeing what is God's will for us every day. And, I just, as you were saying before we got started, this is a pivotal, it's a beautiful word, pivotal time, where people are really being deeply challenged, so we're taking everything we understand and know and our gifts and abilities, and we're Spirit is kind of turning it all up, a little bit higher every day, it feels like to me.
Definitely. Yes.
So
when you're talking about the Goddess, that was actually one of the stages in my awakening process, where I consciously chose to step into, actually her gifts again, and to recognize that they are an essential part of my path, to really embody them and to anchor them here. As you might be able to recognize, when you step into something, when you are ready to embody it, to own it, and to really say, okay, this is it, this is me, and I am showing up, then you can do a retrospect regarding your life and see, but I've always known this. You see, as a little girl, I was the priest. I have 3 little brothers, but we played like getting married, or we played like ceremonies, which was really, we were very, very little. But I was the priest.
Of course.
Which is really interesting. And I didn't know the word for priestess, but I felt like a woman, but we called it priest. Right. So in retrospect, it's been like, I've never understood why women couldn't be a priest. Sure.
Yes. Well, that's what's so exciting about this time. And quite honestly, for me, connecting with other women teachers who are on the spiritual path, because this is that divine timing in the history of our world, for sure. That women are stepping into roles of equality and dignity and power, and all of that is just beginning. My spirit teacher. I awoke in 1987 in a meditation when I was working in a spiritual bookstore, and like yourself, desperate for answers, in the dark night of the soul. And I got invited to see a channel named Lazarus. And so I went to Lazarus during the harmonic convergence and just kept with them ever since. But what I want to get to is they did a workshop about the goddess, because they've always been, it's always been God, goddess, all that is. That's how Lazarus talks about the divine invariably. And so a big part of their teaching has been about the goddess. But I want to share with you, Ariette, I will never forget, there was a 2-day workshop on the goddess, and I don't remember anything else about it except that I wept like a heartbroken child the entire time. I mean, I had never grieved like that in my life. And I still look back on it and go, wow, it's a real thing. It's a very, very deep, powerful thing. Yes. So until you have some emotional experience of that unconditional love, and divine will, and the perfect peace that passes understanding, words fail utterly, but you know what we're talking about here. Until you have that experience, you have no concept. We're so lost in the world, like we're saying, and so programmed by the patriarchy that we don't know what we've forgotten. Is the best way I can put it.
That's right. Yes, that's right. Yeah, you can't see what you can't see. So
right,
until you've been touched, it's beautiful what you describe. So thank you for mentioning this, because
of course
I feel this is the essential part when it comes to the goddess. You cannot experience from a concept.
Right.
You have to really, your body is involved. So you have to
yes,
do,
very
this is the deepening. This is the diving in. This is what she is asking of us, what she requests, and what is actually necessary to really dare to dive in deeper. So going from mind level to the heart and the womb space, also the males.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, it's just the deepest thing that anyone can experience or imagine, and it changes us every time we talk about it or tap into it or open up to it, I'd say.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it allows us to, so what I really got at a certain moment is that when it comes to maths, 1 + 1 is 2. When it comes to God, goddess, the divine feminine and the divine masculine, you get way more than 2 when you combine these. It's adding up to, in so many ways, to so much more and opening up so much more. And it's like when you're walking on one leg, you can do this, but a lot of the things you can't do. And then you have 2 legs and you can express in so many more ways. It's not just that you can then skip on 2 legs. You have so many more abilities. And
sure.
when you merge the masculine with the feminine and experience divine union within, it's like opening up to this vast field of love and gifts and talents and qualities that we've always had stored within us, and it's still accessible, stored within our very multidimensional DNA.
Yeah.
And we know, and we know when we tap into this, and that we've always known this. So it's not that I'm here to, I have a bit of difficulty with the word teacher, even, because I'm not here to teach. I'm here to touch upon certain things And anything that is ready to be awakened will then wake up and will be activated because it's brought back into the light. And that's all there is. So maybe I'm more of a reawakener, or I don't know, but I have difficulty with some words.
Sure. Well, words are limited, of course, and
Yes.
you're doing very well, my friend. Words are always, it's the finger pointing at the moon is a phrase from Gurdjieff, and
Yeah.
but I love what you're saying, and I feel deeply the energy behind what you're saying, and is so the map that I have, and this is kind of what I'd like to chat with you about as well, is as we shift out of 3D, and feminine as equals and parts again. Yeah. So the head and the heart begin to work together much more consciously and deliberately. And as you were saying, in your awakening experience in church, you heard something and you immediately, your inner self said, no, that's not true. And so for all of us, it's learning how to, the way my guides put it is, listen to, trust, and follow that loving inner guidance. And the quote that I've said many times is, the heart knows what the mind struggles to understand.
Yes, beautiful. Yes, I love that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm quite proud of it. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like yourself, these are the little pearls, my dear friend, that, you and I hold on to, having synthesized and refined and purified down, thousands of hours of experience, of knocking on the door of our heart and listening to the teachers and reading, all the great books and seeing the films and listening to the music, dancing, making love, trying to free our spirit, our soul, being in nature, all of that. And then the heart goes, whoop, there it is, and you go, oh God, thank you. I found myself again.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And nature actually is one of my main teachers. So I see Gaia, she is my teacher or guru, or really, really a way shower for me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
really, she taught me how to be with anything that is. The seasons alone are, that's it. That's it. No one argues with the season.
Right. Yeah. Well, as I say, in your videos and pictures, when you're in nature and doing ceremony or just walking or being in nature, swimming, whatever you're doing, I always have that alignment to your deep connection to being in the moment through watching you, that's always there. You're completely in alignment with the deeper part of yourself. And that's a transmission as well.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, I feel that this is
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. You wanted to add something? Okay, so I cannot hear you right now. So you wanted to ask me more about the Goddess Rises, a new program I currently rolled out. And you were also curious to hear more about my connection with Mary Magdalene, if I recall it well. You announced this at the beginning. So maybe I can elaborate a bit on the Goddess Rises first. It is a 7-week program. And now I really lost the connection, but I hope I'm still on YouTube. I'm not sure. Yeah. So it's a 7-week online program. And it is part of an overall program called Glorious Goddess. And this is what has come through me for the past several years, really. Now you're back.
Yes,
Welcome.
thank you for carrying the ball. Thank you, dear.
Okay, you're welcome. So I'm shedding a light on the glorious goddess and what the goddess rises in this overall program really is.
Great.
And glorious goddess really means, you know, she stands in her glory. And what we've been shown is goddesses outside of ourselves, and we've been worshiping them in the ancient days. Some of us still do, luckily.
Right.
But what this program is really about is that we start to recognize the goddess qualities that we innately have, and not only recognize them, but really own them and treasure them and embody them and stand in them.
Yeah.
So that she can rise, so that there is space for the goddess frequencies, for the divine feminine to be on the throne right next to the divine masculine, the throne within the sacred heart. So the holiest of holy here within our own sacred heart, because that was the voice I heard when I was a child. It is all about the heart.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful.
So within this program, it has to do with the reconnection with the crystalline frequencies.
Yes.
And with, again, Christ consciousness.
Yes.
Now, I mentioned that I've been raised Roman Catholic, but I also distance myself from the Roman Catholic Church and the way the religion is being imposed on people. Because in that one moment as a child, I knew we are all free and we are all sovereign beings. Again, I didn't have the words, but there was a lot being downloaded or opened up. Maybe it's not being downloaded, maybe all is just being opened up. So there was a big knowing in that moment. And this is what I feel, well, it is my path for sure and now we come to Mary Magdalene and Yeshua.
Okay.
To remember the way of love. This divine path of walking in truth. Not only talking, but really walking our truth. As the divine beings that we innately are. Beings of light. And really walking in our Christed light. Christed beings. And
Beautiful.
it was not just Yeshua, and it was not just Mary Magdalene, but we are all here to really embody that and remember this truth. And I feel it is really ready to be reawakened and re-embodied.
Yes. Brilliant. Can you I've seen you do workshops in the region in France, you know where I mean? And I had to share that great picture of you with the sword and the stone. Can you talk about any of that?
Yes, I've been there many times.
Is it the what region is it?
It is, I call it Cathar land. It's
Right.
not really a geographical
Right.
region,
Okay.
but it has to do with the Cathars
Right.
who walked, who really honored the way of love and deeply honored Mary Magdalene and her teachings, as well as Yeshua, of course, but Mary Magdalene used to live there.
Yeah.
And that was in the time that, you know, women priests, high priestesses, goddesses were still really honored. And actually, when I am there in that region, I feel the ancient goddess energy as well. So it is a region in southern France, southeast France, where the goddess has been deeply worshipped for
Right.
ages.
Right.
And it's really palpable.
Yes.
You feel it in the stones, in the rocks, in the caves, in the air you breathe in the soil. It's just, it feels very sacred and holy to me to be there.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, you know, as I say, having seen your photos of workshops and travels that you've done to those places, you know, that always strikes me as a deep part of your own journey. You know, a deep connection for you. Yeah.
Yes,
Sure. Yeah, it is. It's just so exciting, Ariette, honestly, because, you know, when I consider as a man, you know, that this imbalance has been going on for thousands of years, especially, you know, since Jesus and Mary. Are you familiar with Patricia Cota Robles and her work?
yes. Well, not very familiar, to be honest, but I am aware of who she is.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, she's been a great. I would encourage you to take a look at some of her teachings as well. She's been instrumental. You know, I do my little morning prayer video, and we've literally gone through 2 of her books in the last year and a half, and they've been very powerful. And she does a weekly video update. But this is where I've learned more about Jesus and Mary and the crystalline codes that you mentioned. And so before the connection got a little interrupted, I was going to say, you know, the map that I have is the movement that we're making from duality and 3D into synchronicity and 5D. And you know, if you want to say anything about this shift of the ages that's happening, and what I want to say is the instrumental role that women and emotion and intuition has to play for men, that men can't go into the 5th dimension without the help of the women in our lives, because we're not wired that way. The women are wired that way. You know, this is your time, and this is your, you know, your calling. And I think it's a wise man who raises his hand and says, please teach me, you know, show me what you have to remind me that I've forgotten. So
Yeah, well, I feel that for women in general, who are not too much programmed according to the matrix, I feel in general it's easier or more natural for women to tap into feelings and emotions and into the heart and into the womb space. And again, it is an essential part of what we're doing right now. And at the same time, it's a deepening in order to be able to ascend. So it's both. We need to descend and ascend both at the same time. It's not one or the other, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
The higher
And I want to
grounded we need to be. Sorry, forgive me. The higher we want to go, the more grounded we need to be. That's the paradox.
Yes, definitely. And one of the people who has been, well, many people have been a great support on my path. But when I look back at what has helped me tremendously, it was actually an activation that Sitara Akela Lightbringer, do you know her?
No.
Okay. Years ago, she gave me an activation, and she called it the 60 crystal chakra activation. And that has opened up. Since then, before that, it went like this. And since then, it was like, whew, it was right. Certain knowings were instant. And especially after she initiated me in transmitting this activation as well.
Beautiful.
And also with many, many participants. And I've been doing this activation for many, many people by now.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most profound activation I have been able to transmit so far.
Mm-hmm.
And the most profound transformation people experience, I've experienced, and people have experienced, is exactly what we just talked about. It is that we are then able to really incarnate, because that's what the deepening is all about, the descent. It's about really incarnating. And especially for high sensitive souls like me, and probably you and many people, it has felt unsafe to really be here and to incarnate fully.
Sure.
But this activation creates the safe space to really feel how it feels to be incarnated.
Beautiful.
And then when you are more and more incarnated, you then can tap into, you can reach higher than you've ever been able to reach.
Yeah. Beautiful. It is that process of integration, and bringing heaven to earth, as we say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And like we're saying, hon, the heart is the master teacher for all of us. And, the mind, the ego, the will, the masculine, the body, the outer world, all that has been the default place of creation. And what crisis does personally and globally is it throws us back into ourselves. And we go, I don't know. I don't know the answer to this. I don't know the solution to this problem. I don't know how I can heal my pain around this. And so, like you're saying, the unconditional love of the goddess, waits there with open arms and an open hand and says, come back to me and give me everything that is not the truth of who you are in this moment. And then every time we do that, we die and we're reborn.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Sure. My pleasure.
No, it's really, this is what it could have been my words.
Thank you.
The not embrace the not knowing zone. Try to embrace the not knowing zone.
Yeah.
And when you talk about comparing males in general to females in general, this is especially hard for, well, let's talk about people who are really in their ratio, stuck in their ratio, and feel that we humans can control everything. We cannot.
Sure.
Yes, we are divine beings. Yes, we are God sent. Yes, we are God particles. And we have our human filters.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. So embracing the not knowing zone. And also another thing is I love to work with curiosity, to the childlike, innocent curious state of being. It's and then you have to embrace the not knowing.
Yeah. Oh God, yes. Well, I mean, again, you could be saying you're saying my words for me, my friend, and for me, honestly, this is what music, really does in my life. It is that transcendent, expanded, innocent, playful state, where I'm not thinking old thoughts and not stuck in the world any longer. So I use that for that.
Yeah. And for me, dance.
Mm.
Or just skipping outside, the hopping. And,
Okay.
just being playful. Just being playful.
Sure.
That's when the heart just expands.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, innocence is a tremendous state of grace. And, you're talking about your spiritual studies in your 20s and things like this. I mean, Hermann Hesse was a revelation for me, reading his novels. I don't know if are you familiar with Hesse?
Well, I didn't read his novels, but of course I know his name. Yes.
Sure. No, that's fine. I mean, and you have your own heroes, and Spirit has put your own teachers on your path, of course. But it's like you're touching on there. These are the eternal truths. This is why, as the wisdom. I loved you said as a child, I want my wisdom back, or I want to know. I want wisdom. That's my goal in life, and I quite agree. It's so all these different teachers and teachings, are reminders of what's available for us. But then, like we're saying, we have to be courageous, curious, and innocent, and vulnerable, and open, and trusting, and available. Is the word that I've been saying a lot in the last few months. I'm available.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thank you. Then things change. Then things get better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. True. Yeah.
Yeah. Wee.
Yeah. So what is your connection with Mary Magdalene?
Well, okay. Thank you. I mean, that's a lovely question. I've not been to France, and but I have read a bit about that part of the world as well. I mean, what really opened my eyes, honestly, was the book and the film of the Da Vinci Code. And as soon as I heard the story, I went, yeah, that's true. That's the truth of the story at last. And I remember in workshops, I would show the little 7-minute clip in there where Ian McKellen would be telling Tom Hanks and the lovely French actress there, this is how all this has been hidden from you, but it's been there to be seen all along, that the feminine and Mary Magdalene are Jesus's equal and the heart of his teaching. And so what's Mary Magdalene to me? Well, as I say, Patricia has given me a lot more, Coda Robles has given me a lot more to hold on to about that story. And, she is such a clear, extraordinarily clear channel that, I trust what she says implicitly at this point. She's earned my trust 100 times over. So that's been reassuring. But like yourself, it's like, okay, I'm on this team. I'm here to do this thing. There's a lot of help. I can get in my way every day of my life, or I can learn how to get out of my way. But it's a big job. And, there are lovely people like yourself who were here to do this thing together. So these moments are very dear to me, to connect in this way and talk about these things.
Yeah, for me as well. Yes, it's very beautiful. Also in these, pivotal, but also rather strange times, that at the same time, and this again is with the descent and the ascent, again, it also encourages people in a way to connect deeper and to find soul tribe, or like-hearted people. I don't like, like-minded and like-hearted people.
Yeah.
So which helps us to create a more powerful Christed light field within the earth and around it. And so again, the goddess rises has this also in mind, in heart, in soul. It's really a program, a trajectory that helps people to open up to what has always been within, and what has always been out there as well. So the higher frequencies, the Christ light, the crystalline light codes, and activate anything that is ready to be activated and shared, to be shared.
Sure. Well, that's a perfect segue, my friend, because if I can, I'd love to ask you a little bit about your partnership and how, you being in a wonderful, stable, loving relationship, how that has helped you be able to be the teacher that you are and share your journey together with your lovely husband.
I love that question. Thank you. Because
You're very welcome. Of course.
We met 13 years ago. So it's now April 13th. We met 13 years ago.
Okay.
The Goddess Rises will actually start May 13.
Okay.
On
Lovely.
Ascension Day.
Lovely.
And my husband, well, he wasn't really on the spiritual path when we met. But
what's
when
his
I
name?
turned, sorry?
What's his name?
His name is Rob.
Okay.
Yeah. When we met, there was a recognition of souls instantly. And the thought that arose in him was, what a beautiful witch. Not in a negative way, but just what a beautiful witch because of my eyes. He told me later.
Yeah.
So it wasn't always easy for him to be with me, of course, because I'm very dedicated to my path. And to be really honest, my first and foremost marriage.
Sure. Yeah.
There.
I'm the same, my friend. Yeah.
This is where I need to be loyal to. So this is, in the earthly experience, not always easy, as you can imagine.
Sure.
But when I turned 44, he gave me a most beautiful gift. And he said, I have this little tiny present for you. It's the only material present I have. It was an amethyst angel, a pendant. But he said, my true gift to you is that I will support you on whatever it is you need to do in this life.
Beautiful.
It was an extraordinary gift, especially because after that, everything opened up. So it was as if, not as if, in that sense, he has been and he still is, he is an essential part. So we have different roles, we have different tasks, but not really different tasks. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
Only we're doing it in a very different way.
Right.
But after that, I got requests from countries outside Europe and centers, first in Florida. And then I traveled with Helen Quayle, who was then called Helen Howie.
Okay, yes.
And we did many, many workshops, and we did sessions, first in United States, and then other countries as well.
Beautiful.
And so that was the opening up, but it was as if that birthday that gift of my husband was like, okay, so
Go for it.
we're ready. Go
Yeah.
for it. Yes.
Yes. Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, I'm sure there isn't a dry eye in the house after that story, my friend. That's just so absolutely beautiful. So gorgeous. And I love Helen Madley as well. I've chatted with her also, and she's another angel in this story.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, my dear, I'm so grateful that we have the chance to get to know each other a little bit and spend this time together.
That's likewise.
Thank you. Thank you. So where can people find you, and how can they rush to your next event? Let's give them the full promo here.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to The Goddess Rises, it's in my web shop, and people can find that when they go to heartsolutions.com. And Heart Solutions, you write with heart and soul, because it's all about finding solutions in the heart and the soul for heart and soul.
I love that. I have to tell you. I love that.
Thank you.
Sure.
And starting May 1st, there is also a membership area opening up. So that's something new, and that is called, talking about my husband, it will be called In the Field of Love. So my last name in English is Love. My husband's name is In the Field when you translate it. So this membership area is all about being in the field of love. So it's not about us as persons, but it is about transmitting pure love and pure light and working with, again, the crystal light codes.
Beautiful.
So people can find me there. And also I have a YouTube channel and other social media platforms. And the YouTube channel is also Heart Solutions, Ariette Love.
Great.
Many free videos there. So.
Yes, and they're wonderful. I'm here to tell everyone. Yes, you're absolutely. My pleasure. My pleasure. Well, I think that is just the icing on the cake and the bow on the present right there. Your beautiful story of love and support with you and your husband. Thank you so much for being here today, my friend. Bless you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for your beautiful questions and sharing your beautiful heart, and for your devotional work to brighten up this gorgeous planet. Thank you.
Bless you. Thanks a million. Much love. We'll do it again soon. Have a wonderful day. My best to your husband, of course, and keep on keeping on. Keep on rocking, my friend. God bless you.
I will. I will. Thank you all for listening.
Peace and blessings.
Bye-bye.